Welcome back on Invisible Reality. So, in the last episode, we talked about your journey in hypnotherapy and family medicine, and how did you discover the magic of hypnotherapy. But I'll take advantage of that. So, I want to know more about hypnotherapy and women. So, what comes to my mind is how you can, or how did you integrate both, like hypnotherapy and women health? And how can this be integrated in the traditional medicine? In, like, let's say, treating depression, menopause, postmenopausal, which is the life transitions of women.
So, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity once again to come on the platform and discuss this subject I am so very passionate about. And your question, Reem, is, a very unique yet very deep question, because when you say hypnotherapy and women's wellness and overall well-being, and how we can utilize this modality. What I have seen in my personal practice is that I consider the woman as the nucleus. When we think of a biology of a cell, the woman is the nucleus. She's the center. Be it my mother's, be it myself as a mother, or something, a role as a professional, where a woman is bringing in the energies which are so required for that unit to grow and to go to the next level. It's almost like that nurturing role is what the woman is holding on to. And in different roles in life, as we grow up from childhood, becoming a young woman to reaching a different stage where, we are transitioning, giving birth, and then reaching a stage which is menopause. Each stage has its own specification where some support is required. And what I have understood from the modality of hypnotherapy and coming from mainstream medicine, entering into this, is that the sad part about mainstream medicine is that somewhere we separate the physiology and psychology.
That's true.
The mind and the body are completely seen as two different aspects of a human being and treated differently. And medical professionals on both sides have no communication with each other. So if there is a physical issue, you are going to a particular specialist. And if it's a mind related issue, you are going to a particular specialist. But the reality is that psychology and physiology are very much interlinked. And the bridge connecting the two is our emotion.
Yes.
Emotions are energy in motion. And we are
Yes.
not taught in medical school how to deal with emotions. We are not taught how emotions can actually impact the psychology and physiology as well. How something which is in our mind can actually have a repercussion on the body as well. And how when we don't feel comfortable in the body, obviously the mind gets anxious as well. It
That's
is absolutely right there. But somehow we try to treat it separately. So, coming into the modality of hypnotherapy, that is what my biggest aha moment was, to understand emotions, to understand this bridge which connects the physiology and the psychology, and then to work around issues which are affecting a woman's well being who is taking the center stage in a family, in whichever role she is playing, in family or in a professional life. And that is where that huge understanding of the power of mind, and again to, almost reboot the system so that the effects of this energy or the bridge of emotion is flowing with ease and grace. If we feel settled in our mind, we know that the energy levels are high, we are feeling good, and life has a very different meaning. Even challenges do not seem like challenges. But if we are not thinking well within, in the head, everything is a huge obstruction.
exactly.
So hypnotherapy became that beautiful bridge for me, for my patients who were coming with different issues. And perhaps we can talk about each stage separately to understand it more in detail.
So I wanted to know, like, did you see it effective hypnotherapy in say treating menopause or like depression and anxiety? How is that compared to the traditional modern medicine?
That is very a solid question, which I often, bring about to my patients, to my clients as well, who want to experience this modality and who have taken perhaps other therapeutic modalities for years. They
Mm.
would say that I have been in therapy for X amount of years and still I feel anxious. The clouds of depression are still there. To explain much more in detail what hypnotherapy does, I have to have this metaphorical understanding that imagine your subconscious is like that hard disk on your computer where you are storing memories. And from childhood, every day till now, we are, when we sleep, we store memories which were relevant during our day. And some of these memories, some of these files are corrupted files. When I say corrupted file, it's almost like, an emotion which I felt in my childhood, perhaps related to my parents, my siblings, my friendships, or as a teacher, there was something which affected me as a child, but I did not know how to handle that emotion. Now, that energy is inside of me with that event. Maybe I felt really angry, or maybe I felt very anxious or scared, and I did not know what to do about it. So, this emotion, this memory is now coded on your subconscious, on your hard disk, which is also the zone which is 6,000 times more powerful than our logical thinking mind. It's where our fight and flight instincts are. And this memory stays almost as an undercurrent. We have forgotten about it. Something happens in the current scenario where perhaps I am supposed to feel angry. Maybe I am feeling upset or sad, but this energy is so heavy that I cannot lift it. Why am I feeling so sad when I should perhaps be, you know, pausing in that moment, but there is almost like a mountain I'm carrying in that moment because something from the past has opened up subconsciously. And now I feel depressed and I'm unable to shake it because it's not the emotion of the now. It is the emotion which belongs to the past, which I was unable to navigate. And the bridging hypnotherapy is that connection between here and the past to literally understand that emotion, to digest that emotion, to release that energy, and to reboot the system. And
Mhm.
that's where I find this modality much effective than the other modalities which are working in a therapeutic parlance to almost help the patients vent out, but we are not able to go to the root cause. The root is somewhere in the past, and that's where hypnotherapy goes. So,
Uh,
anxiety, depression, and all these symptoms, they have a very solid shift when we use this protocol and when we are open to navigating into the realm of the mind to understand from where it is coming from.
the medication that is giving to anxiety and depressed patient, it numbs them.
Totally.
Even in the current situations, like if they want to cry, they can't cry. I've seen so many people. They were like, I want to cry, but I can't I can't get it out because I'm on this and this, you know. So
Absolutely.
I think we need, as you said, go to the root, back to the root where the problem is started, and solve it. And it takes sessions, right?
It takes a couple of sessions, but I usually would say that each session is almost like a dive into that ocean, which has so many life experiences we each hold. Some are very good, some are, joyful, some
Mhm.
are not that joyful and perhaps are coded with pain. And we try to avoid that part, of course. But the
Yes.
beauty of the mind is that if the mind is the cause of a problem, the solution is also within the mind. All you need is the courage to dive in.
So, what are some of the ways of hypnotherapy techniques that can help women in their life transitions states?
So, the type of cases which I see, which I mentioned, the different stages, if we start with, say, the age where the reproductive age, the commonest symptoms which you would see
Sure.
is perhaps the PMS symptoms.
Yeah.
During the menstrual cycle, there are so many women out there who have debilitating symptoms and they don't know how to get through it. And again, all these symptoms, the way they are, mainstream medicine often would prescribe medication either for that depression or would put young girls on birth control pills because there is limited, toolbox available to the physicians out there. And my
And then,
message is that there is more we can do for our patients instead of just writing prescriptions for them. So when we think of the PMS, there is almost the data out there shows this is that 10 to 12% of young women have severe PMS symptoms, which almost hinders their day-to-day routine during those times of the month. And it can be from irritability, anger, mood swings, fatigue, headaches, bloatedness, migraines, and all of these symptoms. And as we continue moving forward to different stages in a woman's life, fertility issues, trying to conceive and inability to conceive, and the stress every month to see if pregnancy has happened or not. Moving forward to the menopause, every stage has huge challenges and there is very limited support I see the medical system is providing to women in these
I think,
stages.
yeah, there are just limited resources for them. And
Totally.
I don't blame, like, it's not like we're blaming physicians, but they were not taught
Exact.
in, they were taught just like to look for the symptoms, diagnosis, differential diagnosis, and give treatment. That's what we went through, to be honest. So you said fertility.
Mhm.
Uh, what comes to my mind, does hypnotherapy can help in fertility or like enhance the fertility treatments in women who are trying to conceive?
Absolutely, because as I mentioned, what I'm seeing right now from this position of practiced mainstream medicine and now coming on the other side, there is always a mind element in any challenge we have in life. Always there is that mind, the part of the mind who is either looking at this challenge with an optimistic attitude or you are already giving up inside.
Mhm. Yeah.
So when it is a fertility issue, there is huge stress on this female to conceive. Even though if she is very optimistic, but every month seeing that she has not conceived is already collecting a data in the subconscious that I cannot do it. Perhaps it's not meant to be. It's like we start to write ourselves off. And now
Yeah,
the
right
stress
now,
continues to grow.
yeah.
And as it is continuing to grow, we also understand the stress hormones are literally taking over. There is high adrenaline, there is cortisol. The woman is unable to sleep, unable to rest well because she is creating that mental stress inside of her. And that is where the role of hypnotherapy comes in because this stress is adding on to other stress zones which perhaps are not addressed. For example, when this woman was a young kid, there was a challenge in school. Perhaps she was not good at the subject and she used to feel very stressed whenever that, exam or something was coming up. So there is a folder of stress sitting there. This
Yes.
stress adds on to that stress and it's magnanimous.
Oh, wow.
And now you cannot handle this particular challenge because it has a compilation.
So, about stress nowadays, women have so much pressure from social media, the way they look, the way, like the standard the social media put on women's appearance. So, do you think hypnotherapy is effective in self-image, body image, eat disorders, because we're facing a lot of young women and young ladies who are like putting a pressure on themselves just because they saw the model, they saw different people who are like they actually edit their photos, but not everyone knows that.
Yes.
Everyone want to look
Yes.
like person.
Yes. And yes, absolutely, Reem, there, I'll narrate a case study which was a huge, I don't know, I won't say it was a aha moment, but it was almost a sad moment as a physician when I was holding on the space for this young woman and navigating her journey. She was a young woman with eating disorder. And we are trying to understand the why of this, the anxiety or the pressure this young girl is holding on to and is unable to eat properly, is very thin, but still is feeling that she's not good enough.
Mhm.
And in one of the sessions, what showcases is that young childhood of this woman, there were dysfunctionalities. There are dysfunctionalities in most of the families. Some are much more than
Mhm.
the others. So we got a glimpse as we are navigating the journey of the past that there are dysfunctionalities, and she is the youngest child of the family. As the youngest child, the family being dysfunctional, there is almost a chaos in the family where obviously no one is paying attention to the little one,
Yes.
especially the mothers. And there is a sibling who is a higher chief.
Oh, the
And
comparison.
now the attention goes always, look at your sister, how well she does. What is the child feeling? The parents unknowingly actually are trying to uplift the child. But the
Yeah.
child is feeling, I am not good enough. I cannot do anything right. And she cannot express it. And she's a young child, 7, 8 years old. And then the subconscious shows us a glimpse of a memory where this girl says that I see that mom is watching TV and there is a modeling show.
Mm.
Girls are walking on the ramp. And my mother is like, wow, look at them, how amazing they look. And the
Yeah.
child concludes that this is giving my mother to have that attention. What is I have the same body? Maybe my mother will look at me.
Does she think of it, or like that's the subconscious work?
So she thinks of it in that moment, but consciously she has forgotten, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So we are regressing to understand the why of this issue, and this moment showcases almost like a movie that yes, I understand to gain my mother's attention. I myself said, okay, I cannot do things academically. Perhaps I can have that body and maybe I'll get the love from my mother. And
Mm.
now it's like almost like, a paradoxic distortion, we say, that you are so focused on the physical that you forget about everything else and you have completely forgotten why you are so paranoid about the physical appearance because it's all sitting in the subconscious creating stress. And that's how when we discover the why of things, there is a way to digest the emotions of the past, to reboot the system, to align the mind with, with wisdom of life, to understand who you are and how you would like to lead your life instead of the life leading you and taking
Yeah.
you forward with conclusions of the past.
But now when you're talking, it's like it just hit me. I was in school and I was always compared to my older sister. We're both like A students. The
Yeah.
thing is, she's very, how to say it, she's very quiet, very representable. I'm the opposite. Like I'm the one who's like playing with everyone and naughty and not talking all the time. So when they saw we're sisters, they always say, "Oh my God, you're her sister," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the bad version of her." We're both A students, so
Yes.
I didn't take it as offensive, but
Yeah.
I looked up to her. Like
Yeah.
all my life, I wanted to be her because that's what even my parents see can praise.
Yes.
But
And
that's
that is where the stress comes on self.
yes,
Because I'm not accepting fully who I am. I am giving myself that pressure because my parents maybe are attached to her more and I want to have the same. So I have to do even better and even better.
Yeah.
And that is where we somewhere take the label of being a perfectionist, and we understand the role of a perfectionist is full of stress because nothing will stop you from saying, yes, I've done good enough.
Yeah, you're just digging in my memory, and
Stepping.
she's blonde with the green eyes, and my dad and mom see her like she's the prettiest, and I'm like, okay, I have brown eyes, but like no one cares, you know.
Yes,
In my
yes,
mind,
yes.
as a child and as a teenager, I want to be
Yes,
very good at school to compensate for like not seeing myself as pretty as her.
exactly. And
But
that's like a
she didn't
silent
do
spark.
anything. Like she
Exactly.
didn't do anything wrong. I feel bad for her. But
Yes.
it's still it's the parents doing.
Yes. And it's our own perception. The
Yes.
problem is the parents did not have time to console the child and to tell the child, you are great as well.
Yes.
And when
That's
the child does not hear that, that perception becomes that thought form in the mind, which will now churn stress and will bring unnecessary baggage and emotions which you don't need in that.
that's true. Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's where hypnotherapy goes in because the story is in the past.
but
And
it's
that's what we
don't
resolve.
don't you see it? I don't know how to say it. It's sad that like humanity is joined by this. Like um most of the people get in childhood traumas because of the perception of themselves, because the parent
Yes.
didn't pay attention, but the parents did what they know best.
Yes.
So,
Totally.
yeah, and it's everyone is going and fighting their own battles, but it all goes down to childhood mostly.
It all goes down to childhood. And, I usually would give the narrative to my patients, to my clients, that yes, once upon a time, that was right. Your parents perhaps were not able to give you what you needed as a child. And you have still been carrying those wounds. You
Yeah.
still feel angries, for example, when because the mother was absent for you as a child. Now, as an adult, this female is unable to connect with the mother. Whenever she calls, there is a lot of anger. And the
Yes.
energy of anger is going to hit your stomach. It's going to hit
Yes.
your liver, and there are issues. And the person does not understand why do I have gastric reflux all the time? Because there is anger bubbling inside of me the moment my mother called. Because there is an issue which belongs to the past. Now,
Mm.
either you continue to carry these issues of the past and ruin your present, or you give it a different narrative. As you clearly said, they had limited resources and tools as friends themselves to do, and they tried their best.
Yeah,
Now,
I
it's
think
my role.
they experienced their own trauma too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So the whole idea is, do I take responsibility of my emotions, or do I keep on throwing it at them and now create a circuit of these toxic emotions inside of me? So
Yeah.
hypnotherapy is that beautiful closure which helps you to digest the emotions of the past through the wisdom of the adult. As a child, it was relevant, but you are not a child anymore. You are an
Yes.
adult,
Yeah.
and you can now understand that situation. So it's almost like a movie is playing in the subconscious, which is creating a chaos in the present, causing chronic physical or mental issues. Let's go inside and become the director of the movie,
Mhm.
rewrite its script. And that
Yes.
is what this modality does. And it is very empowering because the shifts are magical.
But not everyone, like not the public, I mean, not the public doesn't know, like don't know about the modality that it exists and it can like help you in treating many symptoms, many issues like stress or depression or anything. So I feel like it's a big, I don't know how to say it. It's a burden. Like
Yes.
you have to put it out. You have to reach as much as people as you can because not everyone know about it and have the access to the resources.
Very true. Very true. And that's where, the role of PTI or
And
myself now in a different zone. And the book which I have written, which is the full of case studies, it's all, sort of validation, sort of my own way to showcase to the people out there that there is a way out. As I said, if your mind is creating a problem, the solution is also in the mind.
so, as women,
Will you?
we are not like before, like let's say 50 years. Women were like mostly sitting, like staying at home, mothers and taking care of the babies and the home. But now, like you're a doctor, you're the driver, you're
You're everyone.
you're the teacher,
Yeah.
you're a mother. You're juggling like a lot of roles in your life.
Yes.
So how would you say hypnotherapy can help with the stress juggling all those roles?
So again, it is, people who come to me come with a particular challenge. And somewhere I'm able to showcase to them a bigger umbrella, which
Mhm.
is somewhere things which were not resolved in the past, which is adding on to the burden of now. And as we understand, and many people would say, well, the past is done. I
Yeah.
don't want to discuss it. I don't want to go there. Talk to me about the now. But my argument to that is that is the overhang which is not allowing you to handle situation. Because what exactly is stress? Stress is something physical or mental which I am not able to hold on with ease. It's too much on my plate. And
Yes.
it is too much. What exactly are the tools which I need, which I am unable to have right now? So, say for an example, there would be a professional who would come to me and she would say that somewhere I am very stressed out. I cannot say no to people. When someone needs help, I will say yes. The other one, I will offer that. And slowly I'll see that my desk is piling up with work. I'm losing sleep. But somewhere I don't have the capability to say no. I'm drowning under my own goodness. And it is bringing stress to me. The other one who is perhaps feeling stressed in the role of a mother. And she would say that I am passionate about my profession, but I feel guilty as a mother because I have to go out. I
Oh,
now am feeling with that guilt, shame, and depressed that I'm unable to connect with my children. And now, as a mother, I'm feeling stressed. In different roles, there is something which is too much for the
yeah.
person. And that too much is a connection somewhere to the past. And that's a beautiful journey when we go in the zone to understand why this particular role is making you feel stressed. So I give another example, another case study where this person who is now in her late 60s used to be a very, very solid and very focused and a go-getter professional.
Mhm.
And she was known for those capabilities that if you give this work to this person, she is going to deliver it to the T, time management, everything is like, and she is a team leader and all of that. Now she has retired. What issue she comes to connect with me is sleep issues.
Mm.
Unable to sleep, though there is nothing on her plate now. She's a grandmother. She has come out of that zone and she wants to spend quality time with her daughter and granddaughter. But she has sleep issues and she had this very, peculiar habit that she said it's like a voice in my head who is adamant not allowing me to sleep. And I would find something or the other till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. I would start cleaning my house or my fridge or whatever. And she's like, I consciously, I'm unable to control it. Why do I do this? I want to sleep, I want to rest, but there is something not allowing me to rest. And when through a few sessions to unravel the story, we understood that that part of her life, which was a go getter, which was like a go, 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 no sleep, finish the project, all of that. Imagine that part is still active. It's like a window on your computer, which is still open, not allowing you to shut off the system.
Yeah,
And
many
by,
people.
by digesting that part, by understanding that stage in my life is over and I am here. It's like rebooting the system because the system is stuck on that. You have moved physically, but your mind is still at work.
Yeah, my dad is the same. Like he's retired, but he can't stop working. He's always awake at night. I thought before like he doesn't know how to not to work or like, but I think is he, he doesn't want to. But some people don't want to believe that this part of their life is over.
Yeah.
So what do you do in this case if they don't want to? Like they
Yeah.
want to rest, but they don't want to believe it.
Yes. And that is where, stages of loss will come in. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and understanding the 5 stages of loss. Because something which gives us gratitude, something which gives us our own identity, something which we are somewhere perhaps passionate about or we have purpose in it. When you are transitioning from that stage is almost like I'm losing something which is dear to me and I don't want to. And that's the first stage of loss, which is denial.
Yeah.
Because if I come out of it, perhaps I feel that I am now useless, I'm good for nothing, and I don't know what is my purpose now. So I will just hold on to this. And now being in denial has its own repercussion. So we
Mm.
can only help those who have the awareness and have some challenge which they are not understanding. Like the case which I told you that she's retired and she does not understand why is she unable to sleep. And through that, the discovery happens that a program is still very active subconsciously, not allowing you to shut off. So we
Yes.
have to go through all those 5 stages of loss, literally in the mind, to come to acceptance of what is. And
Mhm.
the moment you accept it in the mind that this is a new phase in my life, a new purpose showcases. Like for this client of mine, being very engaged in charity, she
Mm.
is so passionate about it. And she was like, I understand now that now from there, my role, which I had as a professional and the abilities which I had, I can utilize it beautifully to give back. And a new purpose showcases, but you have to go through those stages of loss to come to acceptance, and it's all in the mind.
Yeah. It's all in the subconscious.
Totally,
It's
totally.
treasure box. Pandora.
Yes, yeah. Pandora box, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's say I've seen a lot of women in modern society smoke.
Really.
And I wanted to ask, is hypnotherapy effective in helping a woman to quit smoking or like helping a woman to have a healthy lifestyle? Because I want to work out. It's just I can't get myself to do it.
Yeah.
Although I
Okay.
used to be very like
Yes.
fit. So what's maybe it's in my subconscious because it's an opposite shift,
Yeah.
when someone likes to work out and then the opposite happens, like they can't get themselves to do that. Is hypnotherapy effective in those cases?
100%. And, there is a lot of research evidence, rather, many people or most of the world out there knows the efficacy of hypnotherapy for weight loss and smoking cessation. They
Oh.
don't know it is effective everywhere, but these two zones, 100%. And again, I have mentioned a few case studies in my book related to smoking cessation. And it's fascinating to understand that people who smoke and actually are bothered by this habit of theirs
Mhm.
are highly intellectual individuals who understand life through a very logical premise, but they don't understand the logic behind why they are unable to quit. So there are
Mm.
two types of smokers. One is a smoker who perhaps took this habit when, the person was in college or something,
Mhm.
peer pressure, whatever. And these are the people who can easily let go of smoking. One fine day, they wake up cold turkey. I won't.
Mm.
There are others who have tried multiple times in their lives to let go of smoking, but it comes back.
Mhm.
Why? Because smoking is a replacement of something subconsciously which has created a void in their life, and smoke or cigarette is filling up that void. A very simple example of that would be
Yeah,
this.
that asking for.
Yeah. So say this gentleman came in and he was smoking for 20 plus years, almost a pack a day, and had a very strong desire to quit, was unable to quit. And I said, why now? And he said, I'm a father now, and I understand that this does not have good impact on my son. I have to, excuse myself and go out and smoke if my son is seeing. I don't know. I want to be a role model. And for
Yes.
my child, I want to quit and I need, help with that. Again, smoking cessation is a protocol. It's a combination of a couple of sessions. And what was the most aha creating session for this gentleman was that understanding this person became the breadwinner of the family when he was a teenager. His father passed away.
Yeah.
And he was the only son, a young sister and mother. And you know how the boy becomes a man overnight. So he was literally 15 years old and he is now trying to make things work for the family. And there comes a moment, this is all regression in a session. There comes a moment where she is really feeling challenged with financial, insecurity. That sister needs to go to college, a household need. I mean, he's trying to get a job, but he's not. And she's mentally feeling very restless. So I'm narrating to you that he's visualizing this moment in his life where he's pacing up and down, thinking, how do I get the finances? And he said, then I thought I will take a walk, and I'm walking on the road. And suddenly I smell cigarettes. And I go to this shop and instinctively I buy the cigarette, I smoke, and something calms down.
Oh.
And now, what is the link here? What was the aha moment? This is his first cigarette, and after that, he could not quit. The aha moment, which came later on with years, was my dad used to smoke, and I was missing him so much. The moment I smelled cigarette, it was as if dad was there. And I smoke, I see he's next to me.
Oh my God.
Plus, this is part of being human. We have to understand emotion. The logic does not work because this is an emotional connection which is could be included. So the whole therapy was consciously again to take him through the stages of loss, to have that connection and almost in a spiritual way to connect with his father, to, express things which he was holding on. There was anger inside. Why did you leave? Why did you put me in this position? There was sadness that you are not there, and how do I do things? All of that is a mind dialogue.
Hmm.
And hypnotherapy is that beautiful modality which can provide that safe space to the client to now release those emotions. And slowly, with that, now cigarettes have no role. And this is just one of those case studies which completely shook me. And there are 4 or 5 such case studies which I have put in the book, and each one of them has such a strong emotional hook. So if someone is struggling with sort of an addiction, there is a deep void subconsciously. And cigarettes are trying to cope up with it, or even, people who had emotional eating. It's the same story, weight issue.
Mhm.
It's all
Um,
about the emotions.
so the question that comes to my mind, this gentleman, did he get to the bottom of it in one session, or did it take
So
few
this is,
sessions?
smoking cessation is a 6 session protocol, and the
Oh,
sessions have to be done every day. So
oh, okay.
this is the only protocol which has to have a daily session. Otherwise, usually I recommend weekly sessions for other
Wait, what?
issues.
Yeah, that's intense. It makes me feel of all the people around me and what they went through. My mom is a heavy smoker. She smoked since she was 15, and she smokes like 3 packs a day. She can't quit. She had stroke twice. She got very sick, but we can't get her to quit smoking. And I don't know, but I'm thinking she got, like, the small villages. So she was living in a small village, and she got married at the age of 11, and then she got divorced because he was an abusive person, and she ran away. And then when she's like 14, 15, she starts smoking. So that makes me think there is something there, but she doesn't know about it. I don't think she does.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not in her conscious awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, as I said, that help can only be given to those who are pondering on this, the why of it.
Yeah.
Because if she is, how we call it, if she is a happy smoker, for
Yeah.
example, then it's like, I'll give you another very, sarcastic example. I had this couple who came to me in Dubai when I was practicing both the modalities together, and both of them elderly in their 70s. And the gentleman was mostly quiet and, a very calming personality. And the wife was more of a verbal and expressive person. And she comes in and they both sit in front of me and she was like, I'm sick and tired of her smoke. Doc, I know you have learned something new. Can you please make him quit smoking? And I could see that she was very frustrated, that he keeps on getting bronchitis and all the time coughing a piece, and he was sitting very quietly on the side. So I just looked at him and I said, do you want to quit? And he just gave me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think she does not need work, but it is making you frustrated. Perhaps you come. We'll work with you. Quality static box. He is happily being in that. We can only help if he says, yes, this is wrong. I need help with this. But
Yeah.
you cannot push anyone. And many times this happens with my work as well. That someone will say, my wife has told me to go and get sessions with you. I'm like, do you really need help? And he's like, well, I am not sure. And I'm like, well, it will be waste of your time, money, and all of that. Find something which you would like to shift, and then this work will be magical.
So did you work with her
Where the
eventually?
no, no,
Yeah.
but she got shocked literally. What I want you to, here to quit, and you are asking me to sit on the couch. I'm like, you are really worked out. You are
Yeah.
anxious, you are angry, you are frustrated, and there will be a story there because perhaps she lost her father because of smoking.
Oh.
And now his smoking is triggering her badly.
Yeah.
There is always a reason. So, whenever we feel an emotion which is not proportionate to the situation, there is a subconscious file which has exploded.
Yeah. When you told me they are 70, let's say 70 years old, I'm like, now she's like, why would she wait all those years?
She
You
must
know?
have tried, but then, you find someone who is a doctor who is doing all of this and she found about it. So, she literally dragged it.
Yeah.
Go.
But you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped or like he
Exactly.
doesn't see anything wrong with whatever. The awareness is not there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And especially, that also clears the myth about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. It is not mind control. It is rather giving you the control of your mind because there are things you are doing which you don't like. So it's not a magic show. It only works when you have the willingness. You open the door of the mind, and that is where the therapist navigates you to help you understand the issue.
So since you said it's not mind control, that brings me to pain.
Routine.
Oh, we in women childbirth, we most of the people now get the epidural. So
Yes.
does hypnotherapy help to like replace the epidural, let's say, or like lessens the pain of childbirth in women?
Yes, and hypnobirthing is a specialty on its own, and many women are right now opting for that specialty. So it's a specialized division of hypnosis where you literally train the mind to perceive pain in a different way.
So what it's called again?
Hypnobirthing.
Hypnobirth.
Yeah, so
Ready.
it's a division on its own, and it's almost like a training of the mind, which starts at a certain stage in pregnancy, where you are giving a different perception of pain and how the mind can control this pain, and it is not that excruciating as it would be. I give
Yeah.
my own example here. I think that was the time I was not into this modality when I gave birth. And I remember with my first experience, of course, when it's your first, you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And as the pain is progressing, my mind is like, oh my God, I cannot take this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much for me. And I requested for the epidural, and somehow in the end, I landed up having the C-section because of my own worries as a physician. I had heard of so many cases as a physician. As you know, we see the ugly
Yeah.
side as well.
Yes.
So the forceps delivery, and
Yeah, but we see the ugly side more than the good
exactly.
side. So yeah, we always
And
go
that
to the
has
bad
an
side.
impact. That has
Yeah.
an impact that my child, whenever there is a contraction, his heartbeat is dropping. And as a
Oh,
physician, I'm thinking there is cord around his neck. And
yes.
my gynecologist is trying to, pacify, don't be your own doctor here. It's okay. He's fine. I'm like, no, you're missing something. I don't want to force a delivery because I had heard
Mhm.
of a bad case in, my own practice as an intern. And now my fears are playing up so bad during my own delivery that I am becoming my biggest block towards my doctor to do what, and that's where we say doctors make the worst patients because we
Yes.
see all of the things which can go wrong and we are trying to control it by giving advice to someone who should be in charge. So this was my first delivery. And what
So,
I felt, bless you,
thank you.
when I entered into this modality in one of the practice rounds. So this is a beautiful thing where you don't just learn this theoretically, but you have to experience it as a human. So I have to go within my own zone to find my own corrupt files. And I'm not sure what was the intention, but we entered and I regressed to exactly that moment where I had that contraction.
Oh,
And I was like, whoa, I'm thinking it's too much. I cannot take it. But then I still take it. I still take it. And at one point, I said, no, I cannot take it. And then I'm thinking, what exactly was going on in my head? And somewhere there was a connection subconsciously which opened up, which connected me to my father and his voice saying, you have to endure pain because life is not a bed of roses. And that literally, I was feeling ashamed to ask for the epidural. And
oh,
that is literally the regression which came later on because I was holding on to a thought, a belief of my father that I want, and it's all subconscious, that I want my father to feel proud, though he is not there even at all, in that delivery room. He's not there. But it's the subconscious thought which is making me feel less about myself, that I'll be less of a woman if I say I need the painkiller. And it
but that
was bizarre.
because
Exactly. My
he, he
perception.
he said that metaphorically, not on
Yes,
physical pain, but
exactly.
that's how
Yes,
your mind
totally.
transmits.
And that's
Yeah.
the mind of the child who wants
Yes.
the validation from the father, who wants to make the father feel proud
Ah.
of her. And this is like literally a system hijack. The
Yeah.
child is saying, no, you cannot, but I need it. And now there
Yeah.
is a clash within my own self. And this is literally the game of life where, belief systems, culture, and, that there are do's and don'ts, expectations. It's all in the mind and how it's generating emotions and these emotions bringing stress to us.
Mm.
We become our own, self-sabotage.
Yeah.
I can do this, but I won't allow myself because then what will people think? What will my parents think? What will my culture or society think? But it's all in my head.
So they start this modality while they are pregnant.
Yes.
So not at birth.
No. So it's like imagine when we are trying to ride a bicycle or any new skill,
Oh,
repetition is the key to create a neural pathway, to
okay.
understand or rewire pain
Mhm. Mhm.
with giving birth with joy, not with, "Huh?" what we have
And
seen pain as. And
yeah,
I have even a client who came in, a young girl who literally shifted her base, moved from India to another country, and is not conceiving. The mother is like very, very concerned that she is in her late 20s. Why is she not being? Wow. Society
yes,
and brings in the pressure.
yes,
What is
yes,
something wrong with you guys?
yes.
And she literally distanced herself by moving countries that leave us alone. And she confided in me because she's a close family friend. And she's like, I am so scared of giving birth. It's the fear which is not allowing me to even experience motherhood. And again, I was not into this modality at that time. I was just a physician at that time. But these are the cases which tell you the power of the mind to create a
Yeah.
challenge and to magnify a challenge. But as I said, there is a solution within this challenge. When you
So
dive in, you discover.
was this friend a physician?
No, she was into engineering. But
Yeah.
again, there is something she has heard on, something nasty
Yeah.
related to childbirth, which just creates so much fear. And again, you feel ashamed to talk
Yes.
about it because how our society says, why your mother gave you birth, so many mothers give, what's wrong with you? So I
Uh,
can express that I'm feeling ashamed that I have seen.
yeah. I remember the first time I went to that delivery ward and saw a mother like she was giving birth, and I didn't have the courage to go like inside the curtain and see because of the screams. I was terrified.
Yes, yes.
I was terrified. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to give birth whatsoever in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally understand. I had the same fears. I think that's what triggered my preterm labor with C-section. Yeah, I
See?
had the same fear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we understand the why because if there is a paralyzing emotion,
yeah,
it is connected to something in the past.
that's true. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we have hypnotherapy. It came back.
Um,
So, are there any women's health concerns where you're seeing particularly promising results with hypnotherapy modality?
Another zone, so other than say the PMS or
Mm.
the stress with fertility and the menopause as well.
Yeah.
So menopause is also around 25% of women go through very severe symptoms of menopause and some just breeze through it.
Mhm.
What is the difference? It's literally, this is the time where things which have been almost brushed under the carpet, you had not buried with it. Because
Mm.
it's a transitioning time, imagine it like all the doors and windows of your house open up and things start to come out, which are making you feel restless. So, those cases, again, how do the symptoms get relieved or are easily manageable? Is by understanding the emotional cords connected to things which are unfinished. So, menopausal symptoms as well, it is greatly, the modality of hypnotherapy helps greatly to relieve that. And one more zone where I have seen in my personal practice where hypnotherapy has been brilliantly used is patients who are going through cancer or cancer
Yeah, yeah.
survivors.
Mhm.
So last year I had this my own, way to give back because my own journey as from a physician becoming a healer started with my mother's cancer journey. So I created a protocol to give back to survivors to connect with joy of life because they still live in fear. What if it comes back? And I saw that in my mother, that,
Yeah.
that anxiety, that depression still was gripping her. And it's in the mind because she's out of it, but she's not enjoying life. She's not thriving. She's not feeling proud, but she is in fear. And that's where I created this protocol to again understand and close these programs or these windows which are stuck on your
Yeah.
computer, not allowing you to breathe right now to enjoy this beautiful life which has been given to you. So that survivorship program has been amazing. And also I have a lot of patients who come in when they're going through the treatment, chemotherapy. And
Yeah.
that is when it is fascinating once again, because the fear and anxiety of what you have heard, what you have seen can play up, and how to reboot the system to flow and anchor the optimistic, miraculous healing that's also within us. So, quite a few of these patients would come in when they have the diagnosis and the anxiety, depression, all of those waves which are hitting them, to help them navigate this journey from the diagnosis process to calm them down. And there is so much research evidence on hypnosis and, all of these stages which a cancer patient goes through, along with reducing chemotherapy side effects. And it's
Okay.
brilliant how, once again, as I said, it's the mind. If the
It's the
mind says or tells the person that it's going to literally, the drugs are going to kill me because they destroy the healthy cells, this is what is. But the
yes.
mind is the one which can create that shield around healthy cells so that I come out of this, easily. So at each
Yeah.
stage of cancer, there has been beautiful benefits I have.
I think going back to menopause and cancer, when you say the mind, say if those drugs are killing me, it's the society. Like those words we heard from society, from relatives, from friends.
Yes.
Also, menopause is like they treated a woman with menopause is like they stigmatize her. I
Yes.
don't know why. So I think she's stressing before menopause, like way before, just because she's very close, or like, okay, I'm gonna be very stressful. I'm gonna be having this symptoms, and it drives women crazy.
Totally. And again, that is stages of loss. The
Yes.
woman is stuck in a stage, and many times it is anger or depression, because you are letting go of so called womanhood as per the norms of society. But that's not the
That's
truth. You are entering
what.
into wisdom. You are entering
Yes.
into a very different direction of your life. So that's the reason there are women who will just breeze through it. And there are
Yes.
women where it is so tough. And as you correctly said, they start having menopausal symptoms in their 40s. And they
Yes.
literally would come in for some other issues, and they'll say, oh, I was having mood swing. Maybe I'm menopausal. And I'm like, you're just 42. I said, yeah, but my mother also had it early. This is again the mind telling you, justify this symptom because you are menopausal.
Yeah.
Justify that symptom because you are. So, we need to anchor ourselves into a reason and not to explore the why of it.
True. That's true. It has been a beautiful conversation about women wellness and hypnotherapy, Dr. Sonia. So I know you're having your event on March 8th,
Mhm.
right? Can you
Mhm.
speak to us about this event? What's going to be there? What it's all about? Like a brief description.
So, March 8th is International Women's Day, and I would like to connect with the sisterhood, with the womanhood, to bring in as many women together to understand and explore this realm of the mind. And there will not only be understanding of how the body talks and what is the connection with the mind, but also learning tools and techniques like self hypnosis, which is very
Yeah.
empowering technique, once again, to understand the bridge of emotions and to keep the zone of the subconscious giving us the nurturing and healing energy which we need. So self-hypnosis has been researched and has been a very popular tool, which is almost in a way, connected to meditation, but it has a protocol. So people
Yes.
who say that I cannot meditate, this is a respite. There is a way to connect with the subconscious and to utilize that power of the mind to bring and flow through the desired goals. So that is what my intention is, to connect with like-minded people, women, on March 8th, and let's explore this fascinating one.
Yeah, I'm excited. So will you have it in person or online or hybrid?
So it's right now it is planned here at our center in
Mhm.
San Diego,
Okay.
in person.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully I can make it. Hopefully.
I
Yeah.
look forward.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and for all your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank
And I'll
you.
see
Thank you so
you
much for
for
the opportunity.
thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.